Haunted houses, they send chills down our spines, they make us want to look over our shoulders. B Block House is one of those places. It's a name whispered in hushed tones. People say it's haunted. They say strange things happen there. Some people say they've seen lights in the windows, others hear voices echoing in the halls. A few have even claimed to see figures moving in the shadows. The stories are enough to make anyone nervous. B Block House has a dark history. No one knows for sure what happened there, but the rumors are enough to keep most people away. But not me. I'm here to find out the truth. I'm fascinated by the paranormal, by the things we can't explain. I've investigated haunted places before, but B Block House feels different. There's an energy here, a heaviness that hangs in the air. I'm not here to prove or disprove the existence of ghosts. I'm here to experience B Block House for myself, to see what secrets it holds, to feel the energy that so many have described. Tonight, I'm spending the night in B Block House. I'll be using every tool at my disposal to capture evidence. Cameras, audio recorders, and EMF detectors will be my companions. Join me as I step into the unknown, as I explore the haunted halls of B Block House. Will I find evidence of the paranormal, or will this be a night like any other? Only time will tell. The sun dipped below the horizon as I approached B Block House. The house seemed to loom larger as the darkness crept in. Shadows stretched out from the overgrown bushes, reaching towards me like grasping fingers. There was a hushed stillness in the air, broken only by the rustling of leaves and the distant barking of a dog. As I stepped onto the porch, the floorboards creaked under my weight, a sound that echoed through the empty house like a whispered warning. I took a deep breath and pushed open the front door. The air inside was stale and heavy, thick with the scent of decay and dust. Cobwebs hung from every corner, and the faint moonlight filtering through the grimy windows did little to penetrate the gloom. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, a mixture of excitement and apprehension. I walked slowly through the house, my footsteps echoing in the silence. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the wind against the boarded-up windows sent shivers down my spine. The house seemed to be holding its breath, waiting for me to make the first move. I reached the staircase and paused, looking up into the darkness. The stories of the ghostly girl came to mind. People said she appeared at the top of these stairs, her white dress billowing around her as she stared down with empty eyes. I took a deep breath and started up the steps, each creak sounding like a mournful groan in the quiet house. The second floor was even darker and colder than the first. The air was thick with dust, and the musty smell of decay was almost overwhelming. I could hear the sound of my own breathing, amplified in the silence. I walked down the hallway, past closed doors that seemed to pulse with an unseen energy. As I passed the window at the end of the hall, I thought I saw a flicker of movement. I stopped and turned back, my heart pounding in my chest. There, for just a moment, I could have sworn I saw the outline of a figure standing in the window. A young girl with long dark hair and a mournful expression. Then, just as quickly, she was gone. I stood there for a long moment, my breath catching in my throat. Had I really seen something, or was my imagination playing tricks on me? The silence of the house was deafening, and I could feel the weight of unseen eyes watching me from the shadows. Taking a deep breath, I reminded myself that I was here to investigate, to find evidence. I couldn't let my fear get the better of me. I continued down the hallway, my hand trailing along the cold, damp walls. The air grew colder as I walked, and I could feel a tingling sensation in my fingertips. I stopped at the first door and slowly pushed it open. The room was small and sparsely furnished, with just a bed, a dresser, and a single chair. Moonlight streamed through the grimy window, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. I could feel the energy in this room, a heavy, oppressive presence that made it difficult to breathe. Local resident Sarah Johnson, a woman known for her level-headedness and practicality, had her own unsettling experience at B Block House. Sarah had always dismissed the ghost stories as mere folklore, but one moonlit night, her skepticism was put to the test. She was walking her dog along the perimeter of the property, staying on the public sidewalk of course, when she noticed a figure standing in the abandoned courtyard. The figure was tall and shadowy, its edges blurring in and out of focus as if it were struggling to fully materialize. Sarah stopped in her tracks, her heart pounding in her chest. She strained her eyes, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. The figure remained motionless, its back to her as if it were staring up at the house. A shiver ran down Sarah's spine. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, that the shadowy figure was aware of her presence. She called out, her voice trembling slightly, "Hello? Is anyone there?" But the figure didn't respond. It simply stood there, unmoving, shrouded in the eerie silence of the night. After what felt like an eternity, Sarah's dog began to growl, a low rumble that vibrated through the stillness. That was enough to break the spell. Sarah quickly turned and hurried away, her dog's leash clutched tightly in her hand. Bob Thompson, a man who prided himself on his skepticism and logic, had a bone-chilling encounter of his own at B Block House. Bob, a history enthusiast, had always been intrigued by the house's past. He dismissed the ghost stories as fanciful tales, but he couldn't resist the allure of exploring the abandoned building. One night, armed with a flashlight and his trusty camera, Bob ventured inside. The house was eerily quiet, the air thick with the smell of dust and decay. Bob explored the darkened rooms, his flashlight beam cutting through the gloom. He took photos of the peeling wallpaper, the crumbling fireplaces, and the remnants of furniture, trying to capture the house's faded grandeur. As he climbed the creaking staircase to the second floor, Bob started to feel uneasy. The silence of the house seemed to press in on him, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. He paused at the top of the stairs, listening intently, and that's when he heard it. A faint whisper, barely audible above the sound of his own heartbeat. At first he thought it was just the wind whistling through the gaps in the boarded-up windows, but as he listened more closely, he realized that the whisper was forming words, his name. Bob froze, his blood turning to ice in his veins. He called out, his voice echoing in the empty hallway, "Who's there?" But there was no answer, only the sound of his own voice fading into the silence. The stories surrounding B Block House are like whispers on the wind, passed down through generations of townsfolk. But perhaps the most chilling tale is the one about a group of daring high school students who decided to spend a night in the abandoned building back in the 1990s. These teenagers, emboldened by youthful bravado and a healthy dose of skepticism, saw the house as a proving ground, a place to test their courage and confront their fears. They snuck onto the property armed with flashlights, snacks, and a few sleeping bags, ready to face whatever might lurk in the shadows. The night started out like any other teenage adventure, filled with nervous laughter and whispered dares. They explored the darkened rooms, their flashlight beams dancing across the dusty floors and peeling wallpaper. They told ghost stories, their voices echoing in the empty halls, their laughter a fragile shield against the encroaching darkness. But as the night wore on, the atmosphere shifted, the laughter died down, replaced by an uneasy silence. The teenagers started to hear things, footsteps creaking on the stairs, doors slamming shut, and disembodied voices whispering their names. They saw shadows moving in the periphery of their vision, figures flitting past doorways, and the ghostly apparition of a young girl standing at the end of the hallway. Terrified, the students huddled together for comfort, their initial bravado replaced by sheer terror. They waited out the rest of the night, counting every agonizing second until the first rays of dawn pierced the darkness. As soon as the sun rose, they fled the house, their hearts pounding in their chests, their minds forever marked by the horrors they had witnessed. As we delve deeper into the accounts of those who have encountered strange phenomena at B Block House, a pattern begins to emerge. While the specific details of each story vary, there are common threads that weave a tapestry of paranormal activity. Witnesses often report hearing unexplained noises, the creaking of floorboards, the slamming of doors, and disembodied voices whispering in the darkness. These auditory anomalies serve as unsettling reminders that we may not be alone, that unseen entities could be lurking just beyond our perception. Visual disturbances are also frequently reported, from shadowy figures darting across hallways to the full-bodied apparition of a young girl. These ghostly sightings send chills down the spines of witnesses, leaving them to grapple with the possibility that they have glimpsed something truly supernatural. Beyond the sights and sounds, there's an intangible aspect to the paranormal activity at B Block House, a palpable feeling of unease that permeates the very air. Witnesses describe a heaviness in the atmosphere, a sense of being watched, and an overwhelming feeling of dread. This oppressive energy seems to cling to the property, seeping into the bones of those who dare to enter. While some may dismiss these accounts as mere hallucinations or the products of overactive imaginations, the sheer volume and consistency of the reports are difficult to ignore. The stories, passed down through generations and corroborated by first-hand experiences, paint a compelling picture of a place where the veil between the living and the dead is thin, where the echoes of the past reverberate in the present, and where the unknown awaits those brave enough to seek it out. B Block House isn't just a collection of creaking floorboards and dusty windows. It's a living testament to the passage of time, its walls echoing with the whispers of bygone eras. The house's history is deeply intertwined with the town itself, its story a tapestry woven from threads of joy, sorrow, and the mundane rhythms of everyday life. Constructed in the 1800s, its sturdy foundation has witnessed generations come and go, each leaving their own indelible mark on the building's soul. Originally, B Block House served as a beacon of hope, a hospital where the sick and injured sought solace and healing. Within its walls, lives began and ended, each birth and death adding another layer to the building's complex emotional resonance. Doctors and nurses bustled through its corridors, their footsteps a constant rhythm accompanying the murmurs of worried families and the soft moans of patients. As decades passed, B Block House's purpose shifted with the changing times. When the storm clouds of World War II gathered, the house answered the call to serve, transforming into a military barracks. Soldiers, far from home and loved ones, filled its rooms, their laughter and camaraderie briefly masking the specter of war that loomed over them. The weight of their sacrifice, the silent prayers for their safe return, seeped into the very fabric of the building, becoming an inextricable part of its story. And when peace finally returned, B Block House transitioned once more, opening its doors to the bright faces of children as a bustling school. The halls once hushed with the solemnity of illness or the somber realities of war now echoed with the joyous shouts of children at play, their laughter momentarily banishing the shadows of the past. Yet even amidst the innocence and vitality of youth, a sense of melancholy lingered, a subtle undercurrent reminding all who entered that B Block House held within its walls a vast and intricate history. Section 2. Whispers of Tragedy, the fire that forged a legend. But B Block House's story isn't without its dark chapters. Tragedy, like a relentless specter, has cast its shadow over the house's timeline, leaving behind scars both visible and unseen. One event in particular stands out in the annals of the house's history, a devastating fire that swept through its corridors, forever changing its destiny. It was a cold winter night when the flames erupted, their hungry tongues licking at the dry timbers, fueled by a potent combination of misfortune and human error. The fire spread with terrifying speed, engulfing the house in a raging inferno that illuminated the night sky with an eerie orange glow. Panic ensued as residents, trapped within the inferno, fought desperately to escape the clutches of the blaze. The fire department, alerted too late, arrived to find the house consumed by a raging inferno, the heat so intense that it felt like standing before the gates of hell. They battled the blaze with courage and determination, but the fire, relentless in its fury, had already claimed its victims. When the smoke finally cleared and the embers cooled, the true extent of the tragedy became horrifyingly clear. The fire had claimed the lives of several residents, their dreams and futures turned to ash within the very walls that had once sheltered them. The townsfolk mourned their loss, their collective grief a heavy shroud over the once vibrant community. The fire left an indelible mark on both the physical structure of B-Block House and the collective memory of the town, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the capricious nature of fate. Section 3. Emily's Enigma, a disappearance shrouded in mystery. As if the fire's devastation wasn't enough, another tragedy would further cement B-Block House's reputation as a place touched by darkness. This time the tragedy was shrouded in mystery, a disappearance that sent chills down the spines of even the most skeptical townsfolk. Her name was Emily, a young student with a thirst for adventure and a fascination with the unknown. Her disappearance remains a haunting enigma, a cold case that continues to baffle and intrigue those who dare to delve into its depths. Emily, known for her infectious laughter and bright spirit, vanished without a trace, leaving behind a void in the hearts of those who knew and loved her. It was a bright spring afternoon when she was last seen, her laughter echoing through the halls of B-Block House, her youthful energy a stark contrast to the building's somber aura. She had told her friends she was going to explore the abandoned parts of the building, eager to uncover its secrets and perhaps capture a few spooky photos for her growing collection. But as the hours turned into a night of agonizing worry, it became horrifyingly clear that Emily hadn't simply wandered off or lost track of time. The search parties scoured the house and its surrounding grounds, their calls of her name echoing through the stillness, their hopes dwindling with each passing hour. But Emily was gone, vanished without a trace, her disappearance as sudden and inexplicable as a candle flame extinguished by a phantom breath. Section 4. Imprints of Anguish, the lingering scars of trauma. The tragic events that unfolded within the walls of B-Block House, the fire, and Emily's unsolved disappearance have left an indelible mark on the property, a palpable sense of sorrow and unease that permeates its very foundation. Paranormal investigators often speak of residual energy, the lingering imprints of intense emotional experiences that become embedded in the environment. Could it be that the tragic events at B-Block House, the fear, the panic, the anguish of those who perished in the fire, and the lingering sorrow of Emily's unsolved disappearance have imprinted themselves on the very fabric of the building? Is it possible that these trapped energies, unable to move on, manifest as the unexplained phenomena reported by those who dare to enter? The sheer weight of suffering endured within those walls seems to linger like a suffocating fog, a constant reminder of the darkness that has touched this place. Is it any wonder then that B-Block House has become a magnet for paranormal activity, a place where the veil between the living and the dead seems perilously thin? The stories, the legends, the eyewitness accounts all point to a place where the past refuses to stay buried, where the echoes of tragedy reverberate through the halls, seeking solace, or perhaps an audience for their unspoken tales of despair. The spectral tales woven into the very fabric of B-Block House are as varied as the souls who've passed through its doors. But one recurring theme, a chilling detail that appears in numerous accounts, is the scent of lavender. This delicate floral fragrance, typically associated with tranquility and peace, takes on a sinister quality within the context of B-Block House, becoming a harbinger of the unknown, a subtle indication that we are not alone. Witnesses, their senses heightened by fear and anticipation, often report a sudden whiff of lavender accompanying other paranormal phenomena, a cold spot in a sweltering room, the feeling of being watched, the flicker of movement in the periphery. all seemingly linked to this ethereal fragrance. It's as if an unseen presence, unable to communicate directly, has chosen this scent as its signature, a way to announce its arrival and unsettle those who dare to intrude. The lavender scent, rather than bringing a sense of calm, amplifies the fear, turning what should be a comforting aroma into an olfactory warning signal. It's a stark reminder that the laws of nature, the boundaries of our understanding, may not apply within the confines of B Block House. Some speculate that the lavender scent is linked to Emily's memory, a lingering echo of her favorite soap or perfume. Could it be that this fragrance, once a source of comfort and familiarity, has now become an unintentional beacon, drawing her restless spirit back to the site of her disappearance? The question hangs in the air, as heavy and pervasive as the lavender scent itself, a chilling reminder that some mysteries are not meant to be solved. Among the many chilling tales associated with B Block House, one figure emerges from the shadows with a haunting regularity: the ghost of a young girl. Witnesses describe her as a solitary figure, often seen at the edge of their vision, a fleeting glimpse of sorrow and longing. Her long dark hair, her pale dress, her mournful eyes, all point to Emily, her memory forever entwined with the tragedy of her disappearance. Some claim to see her standing at the end of hallways, her small hand reaching out as if seeking comfort or perhaps a way to escape her spectral confinement. Others report seeing her reflection in dusty mirrors, her image flickering in and out of focus, her eyes locking with theirs for a heart-stopping moment before she vanishes into thin air. Whispers of her presence follow investigators as they navigate the labyrinthine corridors of B Block House. Faint giggles, the rustling of fabric, the soft patter of footsteps. These auditory anomalies, often dismissed as tricks of the mind, take on a sinister significance when accompanied by the overwhelming sensation that a child is nearby, unseen but undeniably present. Is it Emily, her spirit tethered to the place of her disappearance, unable to find peace or move on to the other side? Or is it a manifestation of our collective guilt and sorrow, a projection of our desire to make sense of the senseless, to offer a semblance of closure to a story that remains tragically unfinished? The question continues to haunt those who dare to enter B Block House, a chilling reminder that some answers may only be found in the shadowy realm between the living and the dead. As I delved deeper into the labyrinthine history of B Block House, I stumbled upon an artifact, a tangible link to the past that sent shivers down my spine. Tucked away in the attic, hidden beneath layers of dust and forgotten memories, lay a small, leather-bound diary. Its pages, brittle with age and filled with faded ink, held the potential to unlock the secrets of B Block House, to shed light on the mysteries that have haunted this place for generations. Carefully, I lifted the diary, its weight surprisingly heavy in my hands. The leather was cold and slightly damp, as if it had absorbed the chill of the attic and the weight of the secrets it contained. As I opened the cover, a musty odor wafted up, a mixture of old paper, vanilla, and a hint of something floral, perhaps lavender. The diary belonged to Emily, her name scrawled across the first page in a childish hand. Each entry, a poignant mixture of youthful exuberance and burgeoning maturity, offered a glimpse into her life, her dreams, her fears. As I turned the pages, I could almost hear her voice whispering across the years, sharing her innermost thoughts and experiences. One entry, dated just a few days before her disappearance, sent a chill down my spine. It spoke of strange occurrences within the house, of shadows moving in the periphery of her vision, of whispers heard in the dead of night. Emily, it seemed, had sensed a presence within the walls of B Block House, something unseen, something unsettling, something that both frightened and intrigued her. Emily's diary entry sent a shiver down my spine. Had she stumbled upon something sinister within the walls of B Block House, something that defied explanation, something that transcended the boundaries of our understanding? Her words, penned with a mixture of fear and fascination, hinted at a darkness lurking beneath the surface, a malevolent energy that seemed to seep into the very fabric of the building. She described a room, hidden at the end of a little-used corridor on the third floor, a room that seemed to call to her, drawing her in with an irresistible allure. The air in this room, she wrote, was heavy and oppressive, thick with the scent of decay and something else, something she couldn't quite place. It was a presence, she felt, rather than a smell, something ancient and malevolent that watched her every move. Emily's descriptions of the room were vivid, her words painting a chilling picture in my mind. She wrote of strange symbols etched into the walls, symbols that seemed to writhe and shift before her eyes. The air, she said, crackled with an unseen energy, making the hairs on the back of her neck stand on end. And in the center of the room, she described a large, ornate mirror, its surface clouded with age and grime. It was in this mirror, Emily claimed, that she had seen it, a glimpse into another realm, a fleeting vision of something truly terrifying. As I read Emily's words, a sense of unease washed over me, a feeling that I was treading on dangerous ground. Was this diary a warning, a desperate plea for help from beyond the grave? Had Emily, in her youthful curiosity, stumbled upon something that was meant to remain hidden, something that had no place in the realm of the living? Her final entry, scrawled in a hurried hand, ended abruptly, as if she had been interrupted, torn away from her writing by an unseen force. "Don't trust the mirror," she wrote. Her words etched onto the page with an urgency that sent shivers down my spine. "It's a trap, a doorway to somewhere you don't want to go." Emily's warning echoed in my mind as I made my way to the third floor, her words fueling my curiosity and apprehension in equal measure. The hallway leading to the room she described was dark and oppressive, the air thick with dust and the weight of forgotten years. The floorboards creaked ominously beneath my feet, each step a reminder that I was venturing further into the heart of B-Block House, a place where the veil between the living and the dead seemed perilously thin. Section 3. The Haunting Truth, Fact, Fiction, or something in between. Standing before the door to the room Emily described, I paused, my hand hovering over the tarnished doorknob. A wave of dizziness washed over me, and I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. Was I letting my imagination run wild, allowing Emily's words to cloud my judgment? Or was there something truly sinister lurking within those walls, something that had drawn Emily in and refused to let her go? Taking a deep breath, I steeled myself, reminding myself that I was here to investigate, to uncover the truth. I had come to B-Block House seeking answers, and I wouldn't be deterred by shadows and whispers, no matter how unsettling they might be. With a determined push, I opened the door, stepping into the room that had haunted Emily's final days. The room was just as Emily had described it. Dark, oppressive, filled with a palpable sense of dread. The air was thick with the scent of decay and something else, something ancient and unsettling, like the musty odor of a long-sealed tomb. Strange symbols, barely visible beneath layers of grime, adorned the walls, their meaning lost to time and neglect. And in the center of the room, shrouded in shadow, stood the mirror. Section 4. A Night of Unrest. My own encounter with the unknown. The mirror was massive, its ornate frame crafted from dark wood, its surface clouded with age and neglect. As I approached it, I could feel a cold draft, a whisper of air that seemed to emanate from the mirror itself. It was as if the mirror were breathing, drawing in the air around it, consuming the very essence of the room. I raised my hand, my fingers hovering just inches from the mirror's surface. The air grew colder, and I could feel a tingling sensation in my fingertips, as if a current of electricity were passing between my flesh and the cold glass. And then, I saw it. A flicker of movement in the depths of the mirror, a fleeting glimpse of something dark and shapeless. My heart pounded in my chest as I leaned closer, my breath catching in my throat. The image in the mirror shifted, resolving itself into a swirling vortex of shadows and light. It was hypnotic, mesmerizing, drawing me in with an irresistible allure. For a moment I felt a sense of vertigo, a disorientation that made the room spin around me. It was as if the mirror were a portal, a gateway to another realm, and I was being pulled inexorably towards it. Section 1. Unanswered Questions. Standing in the stillness of B Block House, surrounded by the echoes of its troubled past, I found myself wrestling with more questions than answers. Was Emily's diary a genuine artifact, a window into her final terrifying days? Or was it a clever fabrication, planted to heighten the sense of unease that permeated this place? Had I truly sensed a presence emanating from that ancient mirror, or was my mind playing tricks on me, fueled by exhaustion and the weight of suggestion? The evidence, like the shadows that danced in the corners of B Block House, was elusive, open to interpretation. The lavender scent, the ghostly whispers, the feeling of being watched, were these genuine manifestations of restless spirits, or simply the products of overactive imaginations, fueled by darkness and the power of suggestion? The human mind is a curious thing, capable of conjuring both wonders and horrors in equal measure. We seek patterns in randomness, find meaning in coincidence, and crave explanations for the unexplainable. Is it any wonder, then, that places like B Block House, steeped in history and tragedy, become magnets for our collective fears and fascinations? Section 2. The End, or just the beginning. As I stepped out of B Block House and into the cool night air, I couldn't shake the feeling that a part of me had been irrevocably changed by the experience. The house, with its haunting stories and unsettling energy, had gotten under my skin, worming its way into my subconscious. I knew that I would carry the memories of that night with me, the sights, the sounds, the sensations, forever etched into the fabric of my being. Whether or not B Block House is truly haunted remains a matter of personal belief. But one thing is certain, the house stands as a testament to the enduring power of stories, the way in which our collective fears and fascinations breathe life into the inanimate, transforming bricks and mortar into vessels for our hopes, our dreams, and our deepest anxieties. And so, I leave you with this, the story of B Block House, a place where the veil between the living and the dead seems perilously thin, where the echoes of the past whisper through the halls, and where the truth, much like the shadows that dance within its walls, remains tantalizingly out of reach. What do you believe? Have you had your own encounters with the unexplained? Share your stories in the comments below, and let's explore the mysteries of the unknown together.